Sunday, October 27th. We've got 4 games in the NHL, and I've got my 3 best bets for you. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Karan Thacker, and we've got a solid 4-game NHL slate for Sunday, October 27th. We've got the Oilers versus the Red Wings in Detroit at 6 p.m., the Ducks versus the Devils in New Jersey at 7 p.m., the Habs take on the Flyers in Philly at 7 p.m. as well, and then the Sens take on the Colorado Avalanche at 9 p.m. to wrap the night up in Colorado. And before we get into the best bets for Sunday, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. As you guys know, the NHL is new to this channel, and we really do appreciate all your support to continue and help us grow. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hop into that free Discord. I post my best bets in there every single day. So on the days when there is no YouTube video, that Discord is a good place to get the bets right away, and the quickest way to get the bets right away as well. And before we do the bet recap, don't forget to go check out Steven's NFL and NBA videos. We're already in week 8 of the NFL season, and he's got you covered with player props, anytime touchdowns, picks, and predictions. And the NBA season is also off to a fun start, so don't forget to go check that out. Now, I am recording this video on Saturday, so the plays given out for Saturday are not quite done yet. So for that reason, we'll do a bet recap of Friday's plays. And we went 4-2 on Friday, so let's talk about the winners first. We had bet number 1, Sens and Knights over 5.5. And bet number 2, we had the Sens team total of over 2.5. Both of those plays cash for us. The Sens continue to score 3 goals or more against the Knights, and Adin Hill continues to struggle this year. So those were some solid reads there. And then a parlay of the Devils team total over 2.5 and Oilers team total of over 2.5 as well. That was bet number 3, which was a little bit sweaty. The Devils didn't get their third goal until like 3 minutes left in the third. And the Oilers game was 0-0 halfway through the second period. But both of those teams ended up coming through for us, which was nice to see. And the moneyline parlay, bet number 4, Oilers and Predators moneyline. Both of those teams to win straight up. Also a bit sweaty. The Preds went down 2-0 to Chicago early on, and then sooner and later realized that they are an NHL team. So they ended up coming back and winning that game and cashed a nice plus 131 ticket for us. And then for the 2 losses of the day, we had shot parlays. So we had Taylor Hall and Dougie Hamilton to record 2 shots on goal each. We took that at minus 143, slapped it together. Taylor Hall had 2 shots like in the first 10 minutes of the first period, which was nice to see. And Dougie Hamilton, the guy's been firing 4 or 5 shots all year. I don't think he had less than 2 shots in a single game this year, up until last night against the Islanders. So that was unfortunate. Dougie did record 1 shot, but we got hooked on that parlay. And then for the second loss, we had Jeff Skinner and Anders Lee both to record 2 shots on goal. Lee, he did pretty well. He scored last night. He had his 2 shots on goal pretty quickly. Sweat-free there. With Jeff Skinner, unfortunate. He ended the game with 1 shot, but again, the data, he was recording 3 shots or more in most of his games this year, and he hadn't had less than 2. Even the head-to-head data looked really good. He hadn't had less than 2 in 3 or 4 matchups last year. So that's unfortunate to see. We got hooked on 2 of those, but hey, we were really close to a 6-0 night. We'll take 4-2 all day. That leaves our record currently at 68-68 at minus 4.89 units. With that being said, the strategy for this season was always to go heavy in volume with small unit sizes early in this year. That allows us to kind of understand the NHL landscape a little bit better by continuing to throw those plays at the board, half unit, quarter unit shots. But now that the teams are nearing 10 games played, what you'll see is less plays on a daily basis, but will increase the unit sizes as the data continues to stabilize. So we'll start up those 1, 1.5, and maybe even 2 unit plays pretty soon. And with the bet recap out of the way, let's get into the best bets. So for the first bet of the night, we are going to Colorado, where the 4-3-0 Ottawa Senators take on the 4-4-0 Colorado Avalanche. And last year, these 2 teams met twice, with the Avs taking both of the head-to-head matchups. So Colorado won 7-4 in Ottawa, and the Avs also took it at home. They took it 6-4. And both teams should be fresh. Neither team is playing on this heavy Saturday night NHL slate, with our expected goaltending matchup of Linus Ullmark versus Alexander Georgiev. And what we're going to do in this game is we're going to target Alexander Georgiev. The guy has started 5 games this year, and he has been absolutely brutal. His goals against is 4.98, and his save percentage is currently at 810. Now, I know it's a small sample size, but that is pretty rough. And in terms of his game log, the guy's given up 3, 4, 5, 3, and 5 goals in his 5 starts this year. So he's just leaking goals. And even outside of that 5 game sample size, he did start in one of those 2 games against Ottawa head to head last year, and he gave up 4 goals in that one as well. Now, systematically, the advanced metrics do tell us that both of these teams have been playing better defensive hockey than what their numbers are showing. The Avs have given up 20 goals, and the Sens have also given up 18 goals so far this year, but their expected goals against are 13.66 and 13.58 respectively. That is pretty rough. It looks like, the Avs have given up the Avs have given up 6 more goals than they actually should have, and the Sens have given up 4 or 4.5 more goals than they actually should have as well. But until either of these 2 teams show me that they can keep the puck out of the net consistently, I'm just going to pick on them consistently as well. I mean, if Georgiev wasn't in goal, I'm not too sure that I would play this, but until he shows me that he can have a game in the NHL this season with, 3 goals or less or 4 goals or less, why wouldn't I target him? And even with Ullmark, he's normally a pretty good goaltender with Boston in the seasons before, with the Swayman tandem. Sure, but he just got lit up by Vegas, and he's coming off that strain. I don't believe that Colorado can't score on Ullmark. They're a potent offense as well. So yeah, I mean, we saw 2 high-scoring games between these 2 teams last year. We know that Georgiev is still struggling. Ullmark is solid, but he's also coming off a sketchy performance against Vegas, and now he's taken on this Colorado high-potent offensive team, riddled with injuries, but nonetheless, a high-potent offensive team. So yeah, I'm firing up the over 6.5 at -118 on DraftKings for half a unit, and that will be the first best bet for today's video. And for bet number 2, we have got the Montreal Canadiens. They're visiting the Philadelphia Flyers. We got the Habs, who've started 2-4-1 to start the season, and that does not include the Blues game tonight because I am recording this video before that game has wrapped up. And on the Philly side, they just beat the Minnesota Wild this afternoon on Saturday, so they are coming in at 2-5-1. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Flyers for winning a NHL hockey game. Last year, these 2 teams met 3 times, with the home team winning each of those 3 games. So the Habs took the season series 2-1, and the finals in those games were 4-1 Montreal, 9-3 Montreal, and 3-2 Philadelphia. So yeah, with both of these teams in action on Saturday, the Habs will be traveling from Montreal to Philly straight after their game against St. Louis. Just something to take note of. Philly will obviously not have to travel. They're just camping out at home, waiting for those pesky Habs to come into town. And in terms of the goaltending matchup for this game, it is expected to be Caden Primo versus Mr. Ivan Fedotov. And yes, we are once again targeting Ivan Fedotov. He cashed for us last time when we called the Caps against the Flyers preview. And so far this year, Fedotov has started 3 games. And in those 3 games, he has given up 4 goals on 23 shots, 5 goals on 24 shots, and 5 goals on 31 shots. So all of those have been on the road, and he has been absolutely awful on the road there. Before I started recording this video, I actually had this bet to give out at 5.5, and that seemed like a total gift. 5.5 in a Fedotov game is absolutely crazy. But as I've continued to record this video, the line actually moved to over 6. So, I mean, a bit of a giveaway there for the bet, but I guess the line movement is actually backing us as well, and that's nice to see. Last year against the Habs, Samuel Ersson started 2 of those 3 games, and those 2 games ended 3-2 and 4-1. So the under hit. Fedotov started the 3rd game, and that game ended 9-3. So, I mean, that tells you all you need to know. I love the over 6, taking that for half a unit at minus 118 on DraftKings. The only thing that concerns me about this game a little bit is Fedotov might be better at home because all those previous matchups, even that 9-3 game head to head against Montreal last year, that was in Montreal. So, not too sure how Fedotov is going to be at home. Maybe he might be a little bit better and more comfortable, but I'll take my chances on it. Primo did play well in 2 games against Philly last year, but 6 is such a low number that I can't see a world where, worst case, it doesn't just push for us, and it should hit. Like, I expect a 4-3 or 5-2 minimum. If this game was in Montreal, I'd probably be playing like a unit and a half on this, but it's in Philadelphia, so half a unit play, over 6, minus 118 on DraftKings. I'm going to fire that up for the second best bet today. And for bet number 3, we are going to the Motor City where the Edmonton Oilers are in town to take on Detroit. The Oilers went 2-0-0 against Detroit last year, with Edmonton winning 3-2 in Detroit and then 8-4 at home in Edmonton. Detroit is currently playing in Buffalo on Saturday, so they'll be traveling from Buffalo back to Detroit on a back-to-back. And then Edmonton will be the fresher team. They have last played on Friday night. One thing to keep an eye on, this is Detroit's first back-to-back of the year, so we may see a goaltender rotation with Alex Lyon. He's currently playing against Buffalo on Saturday. So it looks like we'll probably see Cam Talbot in goal against the Edmonton Oilers. And in terms of the best bets for this game, I like the Oilers money line. The best available line I can find right now is minus 162 on FanDuel. And honestly, if you're willing to lay the juice, I don't mind that straight up for half a unit. But what I'll probably do is just throw in an Oilers team total of over 1.5 to reduce that juice a little bit. And as mentioned earlier, the Oilers did beat the Wings both times last year, and Alex Lyon did start in both of those games. So I do expect Cam Talbot to be a lot worse than Alex was. And I will say, I would advise to be a little bit cautious with this play. Both games were pretty close last year going into the 3rd period. The teams were tied 0-0 going into the 3rd in Detroit last year, and Edmonton ended up winning it 3-2 in overtime. And for the game in Edmonton that ended up 8-4, like the score line looks huge, right? The Oilers blew them out, they won by 4 goals, etc., etc. But no, this game was actually tied 2-2 going into the 3rd period. And then Edmonton did kind of blow the roof off the top there. So normally, I would say that this is a pretty good dog spot to take Detroit. But there's a few reasons why I like the Edmonton side and their team total combined in a parlay here. The Oilers this year are 3-4-1. They have a minus 2 goal difference, but their actual expected goal difference is plus 7.88 instead of minus 2. The main reason for that is the Oilers have scored 12 goals this year, but their expected goals scored is 22.97. That's insane. Like, the numbers are saying that the Oilers are creating a lot of chances, and they should have scored 10 or 11 more goals than what they currently have. So they're getting extremely, extremely unlucky, and we can expect that to turn around. And on the Detroit side, yeah, they're 4-3-0. They have a better record than Edmonton right now. Detroit has a nice +1 goal difference, but again, if you look at the advanced metrics, their expected goal difference is minus 4.23. And the reason for this is Detroit has given up 10 goals against this year, but their expected goals against is actually 15.48. So what this basically tells me is that Detroit's getting incredible goaltending to mask their defensive issues. Not sustainable. And on the flip side of things, you're getting Edmonton, who's been playing really well. They're creating a lot of chances, but they're just getting super, super unlucky offensively. And then when you factor in Detroit being on a back-to-back, and Edmonton having gone 2-0 against them head-to-head last year, and Edmonton needing to show some desperation here to not go, like 3-6 or 3-7 in their first 10 games to start, that is enough for me to put a half unit on the Oilers money line and Edmonton team total of over 1.5 parlay together. I'm not too sure what that line would be because the team totals are not out yet, So check the pinned comments for this play being finalized. But the third official bet will be the Edmonton Oilers money line parlayed together with the Edmonton team total of over 1.5. And with that, let's do a quick bet recap for today's video. For bet number 1, we have the Senators and the Avalanche over 6.5 for half a unit at minus 118. For bet number 2, we got the Canadiens and the Flyers over 6 for half a unit at minus 118 as well. And for play number 3, we have the Oilers money line, and we will be parlaying that up with the Oilers team total of 1.5. We will be playing that for half a unit, and we'll finalize that line once the team totals are out. But those are your 3 best bets for today, and that'll do it for today, folks. Keep an eye out on the pinned comments as we continue to finalize these plays for Sunday. The player props will be out hopefully late on Saturday night or first thing Sunday morning. So we'll be sure to add those in once we've had a chance to review. And once again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Once again, we really do appreciate the support in continuing to help this hockey channel grow. And don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel as well. Lots of football and lots of basketball action, and Steven has got you covered. So go check that out, and we will catch you for the next one.